Hello everybody, my name is Muhammad Taqiyya Hassan and I am your maths mentor at One Math Army. So this is my second session, this is my second lecture, and I will be continuing the chapter sequences and series and ending the subtopic arithmetic progression. So I'm gonna end the topic arithmetic progression right in this session, and I will be solving 10 to 20 previous IIT JEE questions on arithmetic progression the next session. So that will be a problem solving session. Now let's head right into the lesson. So first of all, I want to congratulate Charan Chitrala for answering the homework question first and correct. Sadly, he was the only one who answered the question and that too right. So congratulations, Charan. I hope you will appear in the next few sessions too. Now let's see how I solved that. So this was the question I gave you. Let a1, a2 and b1, b2 be the arithmetic progressions such that a1 equals to 25, b1 equals to 75 and a100 plus b100 equals to 100. Then the sum of the first 100 terms of the progression a1 plus b1 comma a2 plus b2 and so on. So here's how I solved it. So this over here is my first AP, a1, a2 and a3 and so on. This is my first one and that is my first equation. And our second AP is b1, b2, b3 and so on up to bn, and this is our second equation. And we know that, and given that a1 is 25 and b1 is 75, a1 plus b1 is equals to 100. So we know that the first term of this a1 plus b1 plus a2 plus b2 and so on a100 is 100. So this first term of this progression here is 100, and the last term is a100 plus b100 equals to 100. It's given in the question. So here, let me just remove that. So a100 plus b100 is 100, a1 is 25, b1 is 75. So the first term is 100, the last term is 100, and now we have to find the sum of these whole sequence progression. Now I mentioned this formula in the last class. Sn equals to n by 2 into a plus l, where a is the first term, l is the last term, and n is the number of terms. So n is 100, so there are 1 to 100, so obviously there are 100 terms, and just substitute the value as n. They substitute the value of al n as 100, and you'll get the answer over here. Okay, now let's head into the topic of today. And today we're going to be discussing about arithmetic means. First of all, if between a and b, two given quantities, so a and b are two given quantities, we are going to insert n quantities, we are going to insert n quantities or numbers, a1, a2, a3 and so on, an, such that a1, a2 and so on, an, b form an ap. So after we insert these quantities and numbers, the sequence including a and b should be in arithmetic progression, AP. And then we say these quantities a1, a2 and an are the arithmetic means between a and b. So if we take a comma capital A comma b, so a is the arithmetic mean of a and b if these three are in arithmetic progression. So that's what I written here. Now insertion of n arithmetic means between a and b. So this is the thing where we insert them. So let a1, a2, a3 and so on, a and b n arithmetic means or AMs between two quantities a and b. Then a comma a1 comma a2 comma a3 and so on, a and b is an AP. So we read about that over here. Then the arith mean is this. I'll tell you how I got this formula real quick. So just compare this formula with a plus n minus 1 into d. Then r will be n minus 1 and b minus a by n plus 1 is d. It's actually true. D is b minus a by n plus 1. I will prove that in the next slide. So first look at here. Look over here. AR, this a over here is the first term. Let me underline that. The small a over here is the first term, but a1 is the first mean. So the first mean is the second term. So the nth mean is the n plus 1th term. So we are going to find the rth mean, which will be the r plus 1th term. So I'm going to substitute r plus 1 in the place of r. So the formula is a plus a plus r minus 1 and 2d. So if you have n terms, you can take n over here, but in this case I have r terms, so I'm going to take r here. So the rth mean is the r plus 1th term, because you have an extra number in the beginning. Obviously it would be the r plus 1th term. So the rth mean is r plus 1th term. So all of these are terms up to here. From a to b, these are terms. But from a1 to an, these are arithmetic means between a and b. So a1 will be the second term, a2, which is the second arithmetic mean, will be the third term. Now the rth mean is the r plus 1th term. So I'm going to substitute that in the formula over here. So I'm gonna get this equation over here. So if I substitute r with r plus 1, the ones are gonna cancel out, and I'm gonna get a plus rd. Now if we compare these two, we get this as d. So we get that this value over here is equal to this value over here is equal to wait a second. This value over here is d. So we're gonna get the value as d. So I'm gonna prove how we got that d in the next slide. I'm gonna prove that in the next slide, but just let me write that over here. D. This is d over here. This thing is d. So let's go to the next slide. How I got that d value. Okay. So n arithmetic means to be inserted. So a is the first term and b will be the n plus 2th term. And how it's going to be like this. You have a, and then you have a1, then you have a2, then you have a3, and so on. You have a, and at last you have b. This b, okay, b. So a is your first term. This over here is your first term, and these are n terms over here again. These are your n terms. Okay, so this is the first term, this is the n term. So this over here will be the n plus 1th term. So an is n plus 1th term. Then b should be n plus 2th term, the term after it. This is a, this is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and so on. N minus 1th term, nth term, and nth plus 1 term. So an is the n plus 1th term. Then obviously b would be the n plus 2th term. So that's it. That's how we get the b. The number of terms will be n plus 2, and the nth term is b. So we know that b is the n plus 2th term, and we know the general formula for the nth term. So just substitute n plus 2 in the place of n and find the general formula for n plus 2th term. So t n plus 2 is a plus n plus 2 minus 1 into d. So just substituting n plus 2 in the formula, a plus n minus 1 into d. And we're gonna get a plus n minus 1 into d. So into d, multiply this into d equals to b. So let me just wait a second. Okay, Let me just make that a little smaller to avoid confusion. Yeah, a plus n minus a plus n plus 1 into d is b, and take b to the right hand side and make that b minus a. So n plus 1 into d is b minus a, and hence d equals to b minus a by n plus 1, and that's what we substituted over here. That's how we got a plus rd. So this is the formula for finding the rth mean, or the r plus 1th term. Just compare these two. We're gonna get d equals to b minus 1. So now let's solve a question on this. Between 1 and 31 are inserted m arithmetic means, so that the ratio of the 7th and m minus 1th term and means is 5:9. Then the value of m is, so a is 1, b is 31, and we inserted m arithmetic means, and the 7th mean and divided by the m minus 1th mean gives 5/9. That's the ratio. In other words, the 8th term and the mth term ratio is 5:9. So here's the solution. Let the means be x1, x2, x3, and so on xm, so that 1 comma x1, x2, xm, and so on. So this is our AP over here, and this is our AP in red, underlined with red, and this is our arithmetic means overlined in blue. Is an AP with m plus 2 terms. So I have m arithmetic means and 2 terms extras. So if we insert m or n, if we insert n means in between two numbers, then the total number of terms will be n plus 2. So that's the general number of terms if we insert n arithmetic means in between two numbers. Now 31, the last term, or the m plus 2th term, tm plus 2, we're going to represent that as tm plus 2. And as we did in the previous question, we are going to substitute, we're going to find the general formula for tm plus 2. So that will be 31 equals to a plus m plus 1 into d. And we're going to simplify that. We're going to get 1 plus m plus 1 into d. So we did that by substituting the value of a as 1, because it is given in the question. From this, if we find d, we're going to get 30 by m plus 1. You're just going to send this 1 over here. That will make 30, and 30 divided by m plus 1 equals to d. So d equals to 30. D equals to 30 by m plus 1. Now we are also given that the 7th mean by m minus 1th mean, let me just fix that. This is a minus over here. Make that a minus over here. This is a minus. The 7th mean divided by the m minus 1th mean is 5/9. So in other words, the 8th term divided by the mth term is 5/9, and we know the general way of expressing terms, right? A plus n minus 1 into d. So substituting the value of n as 8 here, we get a plus 7d divided by a plus m minus 1 into d equals to 5/9. We're going to cross multiply this, and we're going to get 9a. So 9a plus 63d equals to 5a plus 5 into m, 5m minus 5 whole into d. And we're going to take this 5a to this side. That will be 4a, and the value of a is 1. So 4 into 1 equals to 5m. So we have this 5m over here in 5m minus 5d. Sorry, 25m minus 5md minus 5d. 5md minus 5d. And we're going to take this plus 63d over here. That will make a minus 63d. So 5m minus 68, and we're going to take d common again and substitute the value of d as we got in equation 1 over here. And if we simplify that, we're going to get 2m plus 2 equals to 75m minus 1020. And you can simplify that if you want. So I will simplify it for you. So multiply m plus 1 on both sides. This m plus 1 will cancel out. This m plus 1 is going to cancel out. It's just going to be cancelled out. Wait a second. This m plus control. This m plus 1 will get cancelled out. This m plus 1 over here will get cancelled out, and here we're going to get 4m plus 4. 4m plus 4 equals to 5m minus 68 into 30. So 4m plus 4, we can take 2 common out. So we can remove 2 from there. We're going to get 2 into 2m plus 2. And we're going to get cancel this 2 from this 30, which is going to be that 2m plus 2. Let me write it for you. After we cancel 2 from both sides, we're going to get 2m plus 2 equals to, in brackets, 5m minus 68 into 30. No, into 15. The 30 is going to get cancelled out by 2, and we're going to left with 15. We're left with 15. So 15 5s is 75. 75m, and I'm going to take this 2m over here. So that will be 73m equals to, and we're going to multiply this 68 into 15. We're going to get 1020 equals to 1020, and I'm going to take this it's going to be minus 1020, sorry, minus 1020, and this plus 2 over here will become minus 2. And sorry, this is minus 73m, by the way, because we're going to take it this side. So it's minus 73m, and 1020 minus 2. So the minus are going to get cancelled out, and we're left with 73m. 73m equals to 1022, and we can just divide that, and we're going to get m equals to 14. So 1022 divided by 73 is 14. So the value of m is 14. So that is our solution to our answer, and this is a homework question. This session is going to be small because it's the ending part, and after that hopefully I will launch another video. I will upload another video on problem solving. You can check that video out in a few days or hours. So this is your homework question. N arithmetic means are inserted between x and 2y and between 2x and y. So there are two sets of numbers. First one is x comma 2y, the second one is 2x comma y, and n arithmetic means are inserted in both of them. So n arithmetic means are inserted between x and 2y, and they are also inserted between 2x and y. If the rth term means in each case be equal, so the rth term in this arithmetic progression and the rth term in this arithmetic progression are the same, then you have to find the ratio of x divided by y. So I will be reading out the names of the first 5 people who give the correct answer in the comments, as I did today. So you can pause this video to note down the question, or you can come back anytime. So bye, I'll meet you in the next session.